Listen, bank fishing can be great, but it does come with its own unique set of challenges, from how to get gear there to finding the best places to fish. There's a lot of things that you have to consider when bank fishing. And in this video, I'm gonna give you 10 tips on how to increase your chances for success from the bank. We have a tip at the end that is really important that you have to know and have to consider when getting to the bank. Let's get into it. Hey, what's up, everybody? Welcome back. All right, the first tip I have for you is scout your spots before you go. It is really important to start before you get to the bank. Make sure you're using apps like Google Earth and FishBrain to find great spots to fish. Now, when using apps like Google Earth, make sure that you are looking at public access water and not private waters, because there are people like this guy that don't like people on their property. And he's not the only one, right? If I had a pond on my property, I probably wouldn't want people on there either without asking permission. So if there is a private spot, ask permission, but use these apps to find public places where you can find fishing access and find places where people have had success already. FishBrain especially will give you places that have public access and where people have been successful finding fish already, right? So use those apps to scout before you go. I can't say that enough, especially if you're fishing with kids. If you're fishing with kids, do not go somewhere new your first time with these kids. Most kids are impatient, not all kids, but most kids are impatient and they want to catch fish right away. So if you're going to a place with kids, make sure it's a place that you found success or that has proven to be successful for other people, so that you're not wasting your time and getting frustrated when your kids are over there acting wild and crazy. Tip number 2, stealth is important. Fish feel vibration. And the next tip will kind of capitalize on this as well, but really be stealthful when you're on the bank, making sure that you're not spooking bass that are close to shore, especially because those are the bass that you're really trying to capitalize on. That leads me right into tip number 3, which is cast close, right? So you want to fish close before you cast far away. Crazy idea, right? But there are times, especially when you're bank fishing, where bass are up shallow. And when they're up shallow and you run up to the bank, you're actually spooking them, right? They feel the vibration in the water, you might spook them. So it's really important that you don't have to do that forever, but 10 feet away, just take a couple casts, right? This will help you catch those bass that are really close up to the bank before you have to now approach it now and cast deeper out and try to catch those fish that are farther off from shore. Tip number 4, a little bit off the back of tip number 3, is cast in layers. And what I mean by that is, as we're approaching the bank, right, we're about 10, 15 feet away, I'm casting close to the bank. I'm catching that first layer, right? That super shallow layer, 5 to 10 feet away from the bank. Then once I've done that and I've kind of gone, in a fan method, right, hitting different areas in that, now I'm gonna approach farther away. Now I'm gonna cast 15 to 20 feet out. And then I'm casting further out, right? So I'm really trying to capitalize on every layer of water. Why? Because I'm only able to access a certain amount of water from the bank, right? So I only want to capitalize and make sure I'm hitting all those spots and hitting all those areas that bass may be without spooking them and without missing spots, right? You want to make sure you capitalize on all the water that's near your area. All right, tip number 5, carry a variety of baits. You never know what conditions, that's foreshadowing, you may be presented with later on. So you want to make sure you have a variety of baits that can do a variety of different things. Baits like chatterbaits, spinnerbaits. You never want to leave home without a Senko. You never want to leave home without a fluke, right? Those are 4 baits that will really help you fish in a lot of different areas, a lot of different situations. But taking some other things in consideration, you want to have a variety of baits that do a variety of things, because you never know what you're gonna encounter when fishing from the bank. Number 6, focus on cover and structure. If there's cover, trees that are overhanging, shadowy areas, docks, you wanna really hit those places of cover. Structure is another big piece, laydowns, things like that. If they're around you, even if they're small, minimal laydowns, they may hold bass, right? So you really wanna focus on that, because you don't have, once again, the opportunity to go all these different places. You want to make sure that you capitalize on what's around you. If that's a little bit of structure, even if it's a bunch of like just weeds that are farther out, grass that goes into the water a little bit. That's all structure and cover that may hold bass that you really want to capitalize on from the bank. Tip number 7, hard to reach places are likely less fished. You see a lot of people that are on YouTube or shorts that are just throwing into like strains and stuff like that. That's because your average angler, your beginner angler probably doesn't have that casting ability to get into those hard to reach places, or they're scared to get hung up. Don't be afraid to get hung up. When you fish places that people don't fish or that are hard to reach, that's likely where bass are. So fish those hard to reach places, those hard to reach angles, find those difficult entry points, because that's sometimes where bass are hiding, because they know that that's not fished nearly as much. Tip number 8, be mobile, be persistent. There is nothing worse, right, than spending, 40 minutes in one spot and not getting a bite, because then you feel like, man, I could have used that time other places. So yes, fish that spot thoroughly. When you fish it thoroughly and you know you're giving a good shot, don't be afraid to move on. And don't get discouraged, right? Bank fishing is a little more difficult because most people will say that, 90% of bass are in 10% of the water. When you're in a boat or a kayak, it's a little bit easier to get to all the water and kind of find where those bass are. When you're bank fishing, it's a little bit harder, but it's a lot more rewarding when you do, because you've done the work to find them, and now you can reap the benefits of getting those bass onto the bank, taking your pictures and having fun, right? So be persistent, don't stop fishing, but don't be afraid to move from spot to spot, searching for the right areas, and tip number 1 helps with that, right? Finding the areas early, parking near the places that are gonna present the best opportunities for bass, whether it's a point, whether it's a place with some laybedowns that you see on Google Earth. Use those areas to kind of pinpoint where you park, and now you can find, now you're able to access a whole bunch of different areas easier that way. Tip number 9, consolidate gear. Being persistent means you're moving around. It is really hard to move around with a huge tackle box on you, 8 different rods. Consolidate gear. Bring rods and reels that can do multiple things. When I go out, I usually have maximum, for me, this is just me, all this is just me, maximum 3 rods. Maximum 3 rods. I have my sling bag. If you want a great sling bag that can hold a lot of tackle, you want the Cast King Tactical Sling Bag, I got a link, it's gonna be right here somewhere, to a video that I did on it. There'll be a link to the sling bag below if you wanna purchase it and help your boy out. But that is probably one of the best sling bags that I have used. Now, if you want a backpack, I don't have anything like that yet, but I'm gonna look for some. So if you have a backpack type bank fishing bag that you really love, drop it in the comment section below so I can look it up. I'm looking for a really good backpack bag for fishing that can carry a little bit more gear. So if you have one that you love, hit your boy up, let me know, tell me you love it in the comments below. My last tip for you, and the one I was waiting for, the most important, is pay attention to conditions. Not just the weather conditions, but the water conditions. This guy right here had a great comment on one of my videos where he said, it's not just about the weather conditions, but one of the most important things, especially when bank fishing, is the water clarity. Certain baits work better and certain colors work better in clear water, and certain baits and colors work better in muddy water. If you're fishing soft plastics especially, your Senkos, you should have a green pumpkin, a baby bass, and a black. That will cover every water condition that you have. Chatterbaits are the same thing. Your black and blue, your white, your green pumpkin, or your bluegill will cover all these different water conditions. So make sure you're paying attention to not just the weather conditions, right? Cloudy, sunny, rainy, but also you're making sure that you're taking into account the water clarity. So make sure that you bring a variety of baits so that when you get there, you see the water clarity, you can now have baits that can be effective in that water. Hopefully these tips will give you a little bit more success on the bank. It's easy to get frustrated. It's easy to get discouraged when bank fishing, because sometimes you feel like you're doing the right things but not getting the benefit from it. Listen, be persistent. Spring is in full effect in New York, and I'm seeing a lot of people catch a lot of bass on my Facebook groups and stuff like that. But get out there and bank fish, man. Fish, because it's a lot of fun, and it's really rewarding when you find them. Hey, I hope this video was helpful for you. If you haven't subscribed yet, what are you waiting for? If you have, thank you. And hit the like button if you liked the video, and I'll see you in the next one.